stretch, stretch. You can put it on the board. Yes.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP.TV mobile studios here in fabulous Las Vegas. That's AAMP.TV. Today's show is brought to you in part by Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind. Legal Shield can help with traffic tickets, texting and driving, DUIs, court appearances, estate planning, even drunk in public for all you wobbling around the street here in fabulous Las Vegas, and even contracts given to you that are hard to understand, plus a whole lot more. For more information, contact Legal Shield at 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. Again, 213-245-1305. Or visit them online for more information at nocourt.us. That's nocourt.us. And a big welcome to everybody listening in on Magic 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas. Talk 1490 WIRB down in Southern Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, and all of our friends on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, from Hawaii all the way to Boston and a bunch of points in between. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Hotel Television, everybody watching us there in 650,000 rooms as well from coast to coast, and AMP TV. AAMP.TV. Folks, we have a very special guest right from the very top. In fact, we're going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm your special guest. So they tell me. My name is Phil Buckman. I am the bass player in the rock band Fuel. I am an actor. I'm a voiceover artist. And thank you very much. All
right, so Phil, you've done a lot. You're doing a lot. You're in lockdown like the whole world right now. But let me ask you a couple questions. Out of all the different things that you've done, look, you've been in the entertainment business for a very long time, all the way back to Married with Children and other things before that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, and before that, right, we just kind of give people a marker in the sand. Whether it's voice acting, whether it's on camera, or whether it's on stage, which one do you like least?
Which one do I like least? It's a great question. I don't really have one that I like least. I would say the music is the hardest. Only because of all the travel. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, and I've got a wife and two kids, and traveling, leaving my family is a little rough, but it's what you got to do to pay the bills. So that's the hardest part probably about any of my jobs is the travel, and it's a quality problem to have, and I know how incredibly lucky I am to have it. But I'm a pretty lucky guy. I get to do some pretty cool things.
Well, Phil, I mean, look at it this way. A lot of people say, well, I'm lucky with this, I'm lucky with that. Look, in Vegas, when you put money in the machines, whatever, that requires luck. But with your skill level, that has nothing to do with luck because you're good.
Okay, I'll give you that, but there's still 95% luck. I mean, I'm decent at what I do, I guess, or I wouldn't work. But there are people out there that are not making it that are way better. Timing, it's being in the right place at the right time. Give you an example with music. I was tolling around L.A. trying to make it in music for years. And after about 20 years, I was playing in local bands and doing all that fun stuff. It's not that much fun. After about 20 years, the band I was in was starting to fall apart. And I was like, I think after this one, I'm done. I'm just going to focus elsewhere. And pretty much right when I made that decision, I got a call from my buddy Rob Patterson, who I'd known for years, and at that time was the guitar player in the band Filter. And he called me up and he's like, "Hey, how fast can you learn 17 songs?" I was just like, "I don't know, tomorrow." And he's like, "All right, well, take a couple of days and learn like 5 of them, and then we're going to have you come in. Our bass player's leaving." And that happened, and here we are 10 years later. I mean, I'm not with that band anymore, but I'm now with Fuel, and I'm now finally, for the last 10 years, playing at the level that I've been trying to play at for the previous 20 years, and it was when I was giving up. So
now, the funny thing is, both of those bands, I mean, for people, in case you've been living under a rock for the last umpteen years, Filter and Fuel, hit machine. It just hit after hit after hit after hit, constantly played on the radio. Yeah. And the pressure of going to the store, going to a concert, going somewhere, whatever, and people recognize you, how do you live a daily life without people harassing you, or not really harassing you, but without people bothering you? Hey, can you sign this? Can you play this? Pick up that bass. Can you play this?
Yeah, well, luckily for me, I'm just the bass player, so I don't get quite the recognition that, say, Richard Patrick, the singer of Filter, or Brett Scallions, the singer of Fuel, would get. But it does happen, and it's, I think it's great. It's part of why we got into this business. I don't believe any single entertainer who says that he's not in the business for the adoration and the attention. We all are in one way or another. And it's nice. It's very rewarding. I don't like it too much, meaning I like having my privacy. But when I do have people come up to me and recognize me, that's sort of a validation that you're doing your job and you're doing it well. And so I look at it that way.
Right.
Thank you. I look at it that way. Yeah. And the fans go mild. I look at it that way. It's a humbling experience. I don't for one second ever think that it's deserved, but it's a positive. For me, it's a positive. I feel like if I'm helping people, not helping people. If I'm pleasing people with the work that I do, I think then I'm doing my job.
All right, folks, we're here with Phil Buckman, actor, musician, current bass player for Fuel, and Petty Cash as well.
Petty Cash, right.
He's done a lot. So we're here with him on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, iHeart, Spotify, and a whole bunch of others, as well as AMP TV and Hotel TV. So, Phil, I like the honesty of saying, it was cool. It's cool that we get that recognition. And as long as people aren't really out of control, right? As long as they're not bugging the daylights out of you, they're not stalking you or following you around. Have you ever had that problem with stalkers?
I have. It can be a little scary. I tend to, when I do go to shows, I tend to try to stay a little private. I don't go hang out as much as I used to after shows. It's gotten a little weird when people know a lot of things about you. People come up to me and they're like, "Hey, and they'll name my wife and kids by name, and how's that thing you're working on?" They know certain details about my life, and it could very well be from social media. Although I do keep a private, a private profile on Facebook, and I have a public profile. The public is Who Is Phil Buckman, so please go there. But I do try. Plug. Yeah, well, there'll be plenty of those. No, I do try to keep my family and private life private, and my public life public. I think that there's a benefit to keeping your privacy on the down low. I had it once a long time ago where somebody figured out who my girlfriend was and started emailing her on Facebook, and she almost broke. Well, she did break up with me over that, and luckily I had somebody in the band I was in call her and explain what this is something we deal with, and luckily that was all smoothed out, and now we're married, and and have 2 kids. Yeah.
All right. How old are your kids?
Yeah. My kids are 4. I have twins.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, I have twin daughters. They're 4, and it's especially on this lockdown, it is a challenge.
Well, it's got to be because you're sort of a captive audience. It's not like you go hit the road and get out and really. I mean, look, I saw a picture of the 405 today with nobody on it in the middle of the daytime. And of course, that is the dream scenario for anybody that has to commute up and down the 405. But it was one of those holy crap moments. But look, never mind all that stuff. Let's kind of stay here focused in the last, we'll call it minute and a half of the segment before we go to break. I want you to tell me a little bit more about if you're on a hiatus, how do you keep yourself busy? How do you keep your music brain going? Because we already know the actor, the voiceover side, etc. How do you keep your music brain going?
Well, me personally, honestly, I haven't had time for music because of the kids. We're with them 24/7 because all the awake hours we're taking care of 2 kids, and my wife and I have given each other breaks. My mother-in-law has been staying with us this whole time too. She's been here since we got locked down, and so we do sort of take turns so we can have time for our creativity. The music thing, it's tough. I mean, this is my home studio that I'm in, and I've got the facility for it. But right now I'm focusing on trying to figure out ways to make money, and so I'm focusing more on my voiceover stuff because that's sort of the only industry that's kind of working right now. That's slowed down tremendously, but it's the only thing that's actually, coming through with anything.
Right. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back from break. So, I mean, Phil, there's a lot of different facets to your background, which make you a very interesting guy to talk to, whether it's music or film or TV, et cetera, et cetera. You've done a lot of interesting things. And for our folks wondering, hey, look, this is a sports show. Why are we talking about music and film? Well, guess what? A lot of players migrate from their post-professional career into something in the entertainment world so they could stay right at the forefront of it. Folks, we're going to be back here in just a few minutes on the Sports Circus. Lots more to come. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
My favorite one had to do with the Green Bay Packers. And I love the fact that they dealt off Ty Montgomery because of a blown assignment. Green Bay isn't Green Bay unless they have a good running game. Then they can win 10 Super Bowls. The fact is, you don't have a running game. You've got 70% passing, and that's not where Aaron Rodgers needs to be. He needs to be in a position where he's got a running game to offset the passing game and so forth. I like the move. Green Bay didn't have a running game anyway, so all they're doing is saying, we're going to get rid of you because you don't follow instructions.
Well, he made one of the most boneheaded plays I've ever seen. There's 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. They traded him on Tuesday.
They should have cut him on Sunday night.
He shouldn't have been on the plane back to Green Bay.
Right, they should have made him walk back to Green Bay.
No, it was a terrible play. Now, he's not a stupid guy. He went to Stanford. He's not a dumb guy.
He's not a dumb guy, but he doesn't follow instructions.
He made a terrible play.
The fact is he didn't follow instructions. And you say he's not a dumb guy. His own agenda he put ahead of his team.
I agree.
Thus, he is a dumb guy. Right or wrong?
Wrong. He just got selfish. You're not going to convince me that a guy from Stanford's a dum-dum.
No!
Yeah, this is Sidney Justin from The Miracles.
So you heard yesterday's show at Roy Firestone. Didn't you hear a little clip about him going into the office where Smokey was at? That was really good material, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really funny, man.
Yeah, and then you heard him.
I thought it was hilarious. It was cool, though. It was cool. Really cool story, man. I enjoyed listening to that.
Right, and then he gave a couple of bars. Can you give us a couple of more from Ooh Baby Baby, and let's see if you could do it better than Roy Firestone? Come on, man!
All right, you know what? Why not? I did you wrong. My heart went out to play, but in the game I lost you. What a price to pay. Hey, I'm crying. Ooh, baby, baby. How's that, man?
That's
Is that okay? Is that good enough?
That's incredible. That's fantastic.
You know why? Because that's what you do. You're in the incredible business, Sid. That's awesome. Yes! Only on the Sports Circus. You're going to get sports? You get music?
Hey everybody, this is Barry Katz from the Industry Standard Podcast, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with Sal Tuzzolino.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP.TV studios here in fabulous Las Vegas. That's AAMP.TV. This segment brought to you in part by Cali Vegas, helping people create and host their very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk shows. Cali Vegas can help with everything they need to get out of sitting in hours of traffic, probably like they're doing right now. And host their very own talk show in their very own studio. For more information, contact Cali Vegas at 949-445-1119. That's 949-445-1119. Again, 949-445-1119. Or visit them online at calivegas.com. That's CALI Vegas.com. Sitting in that traffic, man. A big welcome to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, and those also right here in Las Vegas on Magic 97.9 FM. Everybody watching on Hotel TV and AMP TV, a big hello to you, and those streaming us live at thesportscircus.com. Back here with actor, musician, and current bass player for the band Fuel and Petty Cash as well. That would be Phil Buckman. Thanks for joining us again.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. So you got the twins. We're talking a little bit in between segments. You've got a couple of 4-year-olds. You've got to have your hands full.
Yeah, we do. It's nonstop entertainment, trying to figure out ways to keep them occupied. Right now my wife is sitting in the house with them with their Hooked on Phonics app on the iPads and the iPhones, and my kids are learning to read, which is great. I was almost late to this interview because one of my daughters had to read me a story, which was amazing.
That's excellent. Yeah. All right, so let's stick with that. All right, so now let's talk about a couple of 4-year-olds in the house. At what point do you introduce them in how to read music?
I don't know. I don't read music.
Or do you?
So I don't. I'm self-taught. I play by ear. The kids have a musical ear. One of my kids can already hold a beat on a drum set, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
I started playing drums when I was about their age, and so I have a drum kit right here in the studio, and so they like to come in here and bash away, and one of my daughters, she's got a good time. She's got a great time.
See, now when you say you're in the studio, of course, I'm going to want you to pick an instrument up, pick the sticks up, start hammering, do something, start noodling, whatever you got, man. Of course, it's great for the audience because the audience gets a chance to see something that they typically wouldn't see.
Yeah, unfortunately, I hear. Unfortunately, well, my drum set is behind the camera and it's an electric kit, so you're not going to hear anything. My acoustic kit's upstairs. In storage in the I have a loft upstairs. My live room, which is the big room behind the curtain over there, I haven't done anything with a full band here in a few years since I was in Filter, because if we ever do anything with Fuel, we do it over at my singer's house. He has a big studio there as well. And if we do anything with Petty Cat, we do it at a lockout downtown that another guy in the band has. So I've actually converted my big room into a photo studio. So you're asking about what I do outside of this stuff for creativity. I've become a camera junkie, which is expensive but fun.
So, I'm sure a lot of people have thought about asking this kind of question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So let's just say you're in Fuel right now, and you're also in Petty Cash right now. And whenever there's public pressure for bandmates to get back from a previous scenario, would you go back and play with a previous band? I'm not saying, whoa, hey, when are you going to get back with those guys? No, I'm asking if they want to get back and maybe do a little jam or a private concert for a great cause or something like that. Would you jump back in the saddle with a previous band to do that kind of thing? And if so, how difficult is it being that you had parted ways for whatever reason in the first place?
You can answer that question by subbing out band with ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever. Some you would happily hang out with, some you would never want to see again. It's the same kind of a situation for me. I have, there was a band I was in the early 2000s called The Snow, and if those guys ever wanted to play again, I would do it in a heartbeat. The band just fell apart. There was no animosity anywhere. The band just sort of fell apart. But it was the best band I was ever in, and I've recently found some old videos of some live shows on hard drives, and it's not the best quality and all, but damn, the band was amazing. It was a great band. The songs were strong, and the musicianship was incredible. It's one of those situations where, like playing tennis with somebody that's better than you are, you work your butt off to keep up with them. That's how I felt in that band. These guys were so incredible, and the songs that they wrote and then that we were writing were just, to me, next level stuff. And unfortunately, it sort of it just didn't happen. The band just sort of fell apart. But then there's other bands like with Filter, I would probably not play with again. Look, Rich and I, if you saw the movie Hired Gun, the documentary that's streaming on Netflix.
I saw the trailer on that recently, yeah.
It's an amazing movie. And we're in it for a small little segment, but you see that we just didn't see eye to eye on things, and that's fine. Not everybody has to get along. And to Rich's credit, he reached out to me not too long ago, offering an apology and asked if I wanted to play bass on a track that he was doing. And I thought about it, and then I sent him a message back saying, I appreciate the offer and I appreciate the sentiment, but honestly, there's just some paths I choose not to go down again, and he understood, and that was it. But most of the other bands that I had played in the past, I would absolutely jam with once or twice. I was in a band called Texture, and we one of the guys in the band we had broken up, and one of the guys in the band was moving to Texas, and he wanted to do one final jam, like, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years, maybe even more after I had left the band. And so I went in the studio, relearned the songs, and we went and jammed and had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
Folks, we're here with Phil Buckman, actor, musician, current bass player for Fuel and Petty Cash as well.
And Petty Cash.
Yeah, I always mention Petty Cash as well. Yeah. Also, a big welcome back to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and watching us on Hotel TV, as well as AMP TV, AAMP.TV. By the way, in case you don't know, we're actually in this glass bubble in the middle of, well, you can kind of guess. If you know Las Vegas, I'm not going to say where we're at because I'm not going to plug them, because then they're going to owe us money. But nonetheless, it's actually a pretty cool place. Nobody can really tap on the glass and say, hey, we have people keeping everybody away. But a big welcome back also to everybody watching us and listening to us on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Now, Phil,
yeah,
when we think about the sports world, I'm going to give you the perfect parallel to what you had said about the ex-girlfriend, whatever. Okay, well, it's the same thing in sporting world. Now, I know for the different clubs that I've played for, there are teams, man, I want no part of them. And I want no part of the fans, because the fan base is just awful in some of them, to be nameless, right? To protect the guilty. But nonetheless, I understand that. But a lot of guys that I know, they'll go back and they'll have a second stint with a team, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, hockey, whatever the case. I was a baseball player, and I know what that rodeo is like. And if the fans didn't like you, first of all, they booed everybody in the first place. And then the worst part is, and then if they bring you back, now they're going to boo twice as loud, right? Or let's say they cheered the living daylights out of you, but then you came back and you didn't do so well, and then they boo twice as loud.
Yeah.
That's a big pill to swallow in the sporting world for sure.
Oh, I would imagine. Yeah. Everybody's they're fickle. Everybody's fickle. I don't know. I don't deal with that in my life, so I don't know. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a big pill. But the reason I asked the question about the other bands, a lot of people, they say, well, you've had a lot of musicians on, and ask them about the idea of going from band to another band, then back to the band. I've got to think about that, because I just can relate it. It is a sports show, right? And I have to think about it. This is what it looks like in the sporting world. Here's the equivalent of it. And remember, a lot of those athletes, again, they go from sports to entertainment because they need the spotlight. A lot of them really do. right? And how many people that you know from the sporting world have actually done that?
I mean, obviously, there's a huge amount that have done that. The Rock, Chris Jericho. The list is endless. Chris Jericho is one guy that I don't know well. I mean, I've met him a couple of times, but he's a prime example. His wrestling career was, I would say, waning only because of, in terms of physicality, not by popularity. And he decided to make the jump into the rock and roll world, and he's killing it. His band Fozzy is a decent sized band. They have a pretty big draw, and he's doing great with that. It's the same with sports figures that go into broadcasting.
Right. Well, we see that in broadcasting. We see a lot of sports figures that are in the film and even in the television world, and some of them are doing the voiceover work like yourself. So in the next segment, you're going to stick around with us for another segment?
Sure.
All right, excellent. In the next segment, I want to talk a little bit more about the entertainment side as far as either on camera or off camera doing a little bit of voice work. That would be kind of an interesting perspective because most people don't really know what the voiceover side is, and we'll let you give them an overview of that as well. Sound good?
Sounds good. Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, we're going to be back here with Phil Buckman, actor, musician, current bass player for the band Fuel, and Petey Cash. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on The Circus.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you start up with capital, business strategy, sales, and marketing, and establish your company with a physical location or an online presence on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea. Then American Business Trust can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com. Or call them at 657-600-1876. That's American Business Trust Company. 657-600-1876. Call them today. They'll help your business right away. That's American Business Trust Company. Online at abtrustco.com. American Business Trust Company.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door. store without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at uppercutchops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at uppercutchops.com.
Hi, this is Tom Dreesen, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with my pal, Sal. And no one does it better.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the mobile amp.tv studios here in fabulous Las Vegas. That's AAMP.tv. An important message for consumers, business owners, and managers. For information on the best high-speed internet, satellite TV service, cell phone service, identity protection, home and business security, and automation, credit card processing, plus savings on electricity and gas bills, contact 702-799-9935. That's for information on smart savings for businesses and homes, 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or learn more at safelyspend.com. That's safelyspend.com. And welcome back to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, from CBS Sports 1500 KHKA in Honolulu all the way to WBNW in the greater Boston market. Thanks for joining us. Also, everybody on Hotel Television and AMP TV. Back here with Phil Buckman, actor, musician, current bass player for the band Fuel, and Petty Cash. Welcome back, Phil.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, listen, I'm in Vegas, so we have to bring Elvis into the picture every chance we get.
Of course. Love Elvis.
All right, so talk a little bit more about the voice actor side of it. What does that mean? What a lot of people that are listening to this, either they're driving home or what, saying, I have a great voice and maybe I want to do some of that voiceover work. What the hell does that mean?
That means honestly, not much. Great voice is only part of it. The majority of the work is you have to be a good actor, a good performer. My dad's got a great voice, and he tried his hand at voiceover, and after he took a class, and after his first class, he came to me and he said, "For the first time, I understand how hard your job is," which was an awesome moment. It's a great job if you can get the work. It's a very competitive field. A lot of people think that just because it's a voiceover gig that it's something they can do in their spare time, but it's a full-time job and it's a big commitment. And this is my studio back behind me for recording voiceover stuff.
So whether it's something animated or whether it's a Carl's Jr. commercial or something, because you've done a lot of those and Hardee's and so forth. You've done scores of commercial work for NBC. We're here on NBC affiliates as well. So you've done so much work, whether it's news related, commercial related. Have you done animated?
I have. I've done some animation. Not as much as I'd like to, but yeah, I have done some. There's a new Jurassic Park cartoon coming out. I don't know if it's out yet. It's called Jurassic World. Might be out. I'm not sure. But I was in the first episode of that. Animation stuff is fewer and far between for me. I'm more of a promo guy. There's the show on Fox called The Orville. That was on Fox. It's now on Hulu. But when it was on Fox, I did all the commercials for that show. Coming up next on The Orville. That was me.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll have to get you to do one of those for the Sports Circus.
Absolutely.
You're listening to the Sports Circus.
Yeah. You're listening to the Sports Circus. Exactly.
All right. Wait, do that again. I was talking over you.
Okay. You're listening to the Sports Circus. How's that?
Nice. All right. That's good stuff.
And Phil,
we got to get some free work out of you somewhere.
Phil, you did say that it's good work if you can find it. Where do you go to find some of this work? I mean, did you call Mr. Carl's Jr. himself and ask him?
No, I have an agent. Same way I get acting work. I have an agent who's now with technology, they send me auditions every day, and I sit here facing the other way, and I record my auditions, and I send them in to my agent, and they send them out to the prospective buyers, and you hope that you win the lottery and you get picked. That's how I got the Carl's Jr. gig. It was just an audition, same as every other voiceover actor got to audition for it. It just happened to be my time. I got lucky on that one. Time and place, lucky. Talent, sure, but lucky. And that was the best job I've ever had. I was the voice of Carl's Jr. for 16 and Hardee's for 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So that. My house, my studio, my cars, my former alimony payments, all funded by Carl's Jr. And
nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And of course, whenever you went through, if you if you went through the drive-through, did you give them like a Carl's Jr. voice promo? Say, I would like a famous star or whatever you did.
I did not. That would have been funny. Yeah, no, I wasn't the drive-through guy.
That would be cool because then if they could recognize who you were, then I don't know, they'd give you a free crisp cut fries or something like that.
They would give me nothing. I remember once I was going on a radio show to do an interview, and I asked them for something to give to the radio host, and like, well, you can download a $1 off coupon on the website. I was like, no,
it's ridiculous.
No. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. All right, Sonar, go ahead, jump in there, man, because I'm at a loss with that one.
Is there a role that you're looking forward to or want to do, like maybe play a villain for voice acting, or do you want to do television, movies, that kind of thing?
This is across the board. Not voiceover specific. There's a role that I just did that I'm really looking forward to it being seen. I don't know when this is actually going to air, but April 4th on CBS. I'm not on this episode, but April 4th on CBS, there's a new show called Broke that's premiering with Jaime Camil and Pauly Perrette from NCIS and Natasha Leggero, Izzy Diaz, and Antonio Raul Cordobo. I think that's how you say his last name. It's a new show called Broke, and it's really funny. And I was a guest star on one of the episodes. So you'll just have to keep watching the show every Thursday to find out which one I'm on. But it's a brilliant show. Really funny, great writers. Alex Hirschlag from Will and Grace is the showrunner on it, and it was the best show I've ever. It was the best set I've ever been on. It was the best group of people I've ever worked with.
Well, folks, we're here with Phil Buckman, actor, musician, current bass player for the band Fuel and Petty Cash. Mentioning that last piece there, you're talking a little bit about the showrunner, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what that is. Tell everybody what a showrunner is.
He's the boss. He's the head guy in charge. The showrunner is the executive producer, above all executive producers. He's the guy who makes the final decisions, and he literally does what it says. He runs the show. So
now you said that about the person from Will and Grace, and I think historically that has to be in the top 3 of funniest sitcoms ever made.
It was brilliant.
It's absolutely, the characters are hilarious. I think Karen Walker in that show is probably the funniest character I've ever seen on television.
Yeah, she was great. A funny thing is that part it was written for somebody else, and she went in and killed the audition. I mean, she nailed it so hard that they had no choice but to give it to her and not the person it was written for.
Just a hilarious cast. I think the only thing that I could probably voice over, I could probably match the guy that does on the Spanish channel. So I can do the Telemundo for Sábado Gigante. I could do that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that just because the energy of the guy saying it, but the show is actually kind of fun. I mean, I can hablo español también, but it is a fun show. It's kind of the old school variety show. It kind of reminds me of Hee Haw, but the Hispanic version of it.
Telemundo?
Yeah.
It's funny.
Well, I actually did. Sábado Gigante.
Yeah. No, I actually did something like that. KNBC here in Los Angeles, the NBC affiliate. I'm one of their voices for their news promos, and they're partnered with the Telemundo station here. So I actually had to do a couple of cross-platform promos where I had to say KNBC4 and Telemundo, whatever the channel was.
All right.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's good stuff. I mean, look, you get to go across segments and think about the different locations here in the last minute of the segment. And all the locations that you've played for, I'm sure some have been in Spanish-speaking countries, for example, right? And we had other people that have talked about that a little bit. Take 30 seconds and tell us the difference between playing in South America versus North America.
I've never played South America, so I don't know. Yeah, no. I as far as travel, the only places I've played outside of the United States are Canada and Europe and Japan. But Japan was on military bases, so we didn't have a Japanese audience. But I played military bases a lot. That's actually my favorite type of show to do is playing on military bases. But I have played all over Europe.
Did you play in Spain?
I don't recall. I may have. I was in one band called Go Betty Go, this punk band, and we played a lot of different countries. I don't think we played Spain, but we played Slovenia, Slovakia, good Lord, Italy, Amsterdam, the Netherlands. We played all over Europe, and it was a whirlwind. It was a month over there, and it was almost a different country every night. Luxembourg, we're just everywhere.
All right, Phil, hold that statement, and we're going to be back here with Phil Buckman, actor, musician, current bass player for Fuel and Petty Cash. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
listening to the Sports Circus, and I'm Mike Golick.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP.TV mobile studios here in fabulous Las Vegas. That's AAMP.TV. Folks, make sure you check out the Sports Circus for our future guest, our prior guest, our podcast, and our partners. That's the sportscircus.com. Lots of great partners on there. And of course, that includes the College of Southern Nevada. Check them out for their upcoming events, csncoyotes.com, csncoyotes.com. And welcome back to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, AMP.TV, AAMP.TV, as well as Hotel Television. By the way, if you're wondering what AMP.TV is, it actually stands for All Ages Media Programming. That's AMP.TV, kind of a cool and clever and snappy acronym for All Ages Media Programming. Make sure you check it out, folks, and subscribe. All right, good stuff. Back here with Phil Buckman, actor, musician, current bass player for Fuel and for Petty Cash.
Yeah.
Lots of voiceover work, lots of acting work on camera, lots of work, period. This is a very busy guy.
Trying to be.
Welcome back, Phil.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, trying to be. I'd like to tell you about what Petty Cash is, if you got a minute.
I think we've got a few minutes.
Yeah. So Petty Cash, for those of you that don't know, it's a side project that I'm in with a bunch of other guys. It's a cover band. We do all the songs of Tom Petty and Johnny Cash, Petty Cash. And the band includes myself and my guitar player from Fuel, Jason Womack. Jason is also the singer who sings all the Johnny Cash stuff. We've got Kemble Walters, who plays guitar, and he is in a band called Ages, and I believe he is going to be playing bass for the band Chevelle for the next tour and into the future.
And then Chicago.
They are.
Yeah, my hometown.
Kemble's from here, or Kemble's actually from Texas, but he lives here. But his wife is from Chicago, and so they're all and with his band Ages, they've opened for Chevelle, and so that's how he knows those guys. And the drummer for Ages, this guy Dylan Howard, is our drummer. And then our singer, his name is Todd Morse, and he is the bass player for the band The Offspring. So it's sort of an all-star band. Well, it's become an all-star band because when we started this band, we weren't in these bands, which is kind of funny. Although Juliette Lewis, the actress, she had a band called Juliette and the Licks. And the other four guys in Petty Cash were the Licks, and nice. that's how Petty Cash got started. So,
I like that. Really, the Licks.
Yeah, so you can check us out
for
on
people
Facebook.
that don't know. Now, Phil, for people that don't know what the Licks stand for, because there's a lot of people that don't know that much about music. What does that really mean, Juliette and the Licks?
Well, in that particular band, it was the tongue lashing licks. I as far as I know, I wasn't in the band, but that's knowing them. That's what it meant. But I mean, a lick is a riff. It's a little, something you play really quick. That's a lick. Right. They were a fun band. Yeah. Juliette and the Licks.
It's the name. I love the name, though. That's great. Yeah. I knew of a little garage band one time called Janet and the Planets. And just the name just kind of, it's stuck with me. I love the name.
Janet and the Planets. That's a cool name.
The favorite band I've been in was called Disposable Pets.
Disposable Pets?
Yes, sir.
That's a cool name. That's a cool name, too. What kind of music?
It was just all covers. We were essentially we might as well have been the Eagles with however many acoustic guitars we had in there.
Right on. That's fun.
Disposable Pets, he said. All right, so growing up, going to pick your favorite games or whatever, you'd hear the stadium music, right? You've been to countless sporting events, probably like most people. When there was a TV timeout or when there was a timeout on the field or whatever it was, wherever you were, what did you love the most? What was your music? You're like, yes!
Oh man. Anytime, I'm a Kings fan, LA Kings fan. So go to games, and anytime they would play Pantera or Metallica was always a lot of fun. Look, you remember the band Cinderella?
Of course.
Okay. So Fred Corey, the drummer for Cinderella, is the guy who programs all the music for the Kings games. And so, yeah. Oh man, he's got such a great post Cinderella career. So he programs all the music for the stadium, and it's great. I mean, the energy is great.
That's why there's a very good music variety there, and there specifically. Now I get it.
Yeah,
I did not know
Fred.
that.
Yeah, that's all Fred.
Yeah. Nice. Now our hockey guy that comes onto the show is Colin Frazier. He's our hockey analyst that comes on. Colin won a couple of cups with those Kings back in 12 and 14, and one with my Chicago Blackhawks in 2010. Yes, I know. This Kings Hawks thing did live for a few years where they were alternating cups.
Yeah, you can't see it right now, but I've got my Kings hat up, my Kings Stanley Cup champion 2014 hat up there, and a couple of the pucks from the game when they beat the Rangers, and. Yeah, my cousin and my uncle were season ticket holders, and they were at the game, and there was a famous picture after they won, after Martinez scored that final shot, and they showed the Kings all just dogpiling on each other, and right in the stands, right above them, is my cousin and my uncle just
oh really
cheering them. Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah,
that's excellent. Now a couple of your defensemen are over here in Vegas for the Vegas Golden Knights. We've got Brayton McNabb over here, and we've got Alec Martinez here now. Pretty soon they're just going to move. Drew Doughty's going to come over here too.
I don't think that's ever going to happen, but you never know.
Drew is he's a high-priced guy. You're right. I think the Kings are going to have to live with that contract.
I think they made a deal with him where he's finishing out his career, but I don't know. I haven't honestly, since we've had kids, we haven't gone to a lot of games. My wife and I used to split season tickets with some friends, and we would go to a handful of games every year. And since the kids, just haven't had the chance to yet. I mean, we will again one day, but for now, not so much.
So have you been to a game and you've heard your music at maybe the TV timeout or on the field timeout or something? Have you heard your music?
Sure. I mean,
what a cool experience, huh?
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, they play Hey Man Nice Shot at hockey games, especially after a nice hard check. It's cool. It's cool. You just kind of like look around like, yeah, that's my band. Nobody has any idea. Nobody has any idea, but yeah.
Yeah. Folks, we're here with Phil Buckman, actor, musician, current bass player for Fuel and Petty Cash. And a big welcome to everybody on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, Hotel TV and AMP TV. And Phil, as you go to these games and you hear your music on the loudspeaker, it's kind of like people are attending your concert, but not. But it's cool because you see some people grooving to it. They're really digging it, right?
Yeah.
And other people are like, all right, like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But that's got to be a good feeling to see people rocking out to your music that's played over the loudspeaker.
Absolutely. Music is highly emotional, across the board, and so watching people having your music have an effect on people is just that's rewarding. That's why we do it. That's why I do it.
That's got to be a cool feeling. Sonar, imagine that. See, now Sonar was a sub hunter in the U.S. Navy, right?
Really?
I mean, it's not like people are going to be rocking out to the submarine sonar, but imagine Sonar, some kind of a situation that's sort of similar. What do you got?
Well, to let you know, I became a sonar technician because of the Hunt for Red October. Remember that scene where they're talking about Jonesy, where he was playing Mozart across the submarine hydrophones, and blasting that out. And I was like, man, that's the power I want to have. Because those hydrophones, after they light off a couple of blasts, those sonar blasts, they're so loud that it heats up the water 3 degrees around it. That's how loud these things are. Double hearing protection, like liquefy your organs type of loudness. Wow. So that was just something that I like just as an engineer going, that is amazing, that type of power through it. Unfortunately, you can't wire up music onto it. So despite my best efforts, they wouldn't let me do it.
But an interesting dynamic nonetheless. I mean, imagine, when's the last time that you were somewhere or in the same room or on air with a sub hunter? I mean, for me, right. I get to do it every day, but it's not very often. That's the one cool thing that I could say that I get to do.
And you're talking about cool. About performing in different places, and that's essentially what I did. Is every place where I went to, I walked around with my acoustic guitar and did everything. Even to the point where in Glasgow, I just played Wonderwall 6 or 7 times and made about $80. So it was enough to cover what I was doing.
Right on. Very cool.
That's good stuff. So all right, so let me ask you this, Phil. Yeah. In the last few minutes, if you look into the crystal ball and say, this is where I am, but this is kind of what I really want to do. Are you really doing what you want to do musically and also in the film and television world?
Musically, I would say, yeah, I'm pretty happy where I am. There's a couple other projects that we were trying to get off the ground, which we hopefully will do. I'm part of what's called the Stowaways, which is an all-star band that performs on the Shiprock cruises. And we were talking about doing something called Stowaways in the Sand, which is basically taking a small group of guys from different bands traveling around the world to different military bases and performing for troops. So that's definitely something that we're gonna try to bring to fruition in the next year. And with a lot of downtime, my wife and I are actually talking about doing a podcast about, at the moment, it'll be pretty much about, how to raise kids in difficult situations that we're all kind of in. And then as far as what I want to be doing, where I like to see myself, I would love to be back on TV on a regular basis. It's been a number of years since I was a regular on a TV show. And I kind of quit that for a while to do the music, and now now that I'm 50 years old and I got the wife and kids, I want to do something that's going to keep me home more. So a transition to a TV career would be ideal. In the meantime, if I have to suffer through being a touring musician, I say that with
if you have to suffer from being a rock star.
I say that completely tongue-in-cheek because it's, like I said at the beginning of this, I'm incredibly lucky to get to do what I do. So I'm not complaining. But, you asked me what I would like to be doing, and that's exactly what I would like to be doing.
All right, take a few minutes, or take a few seconds here. We don't have a few minutes. Take a moment and tell people how to follow you and all your projects and so forth, if you will.
Okay, you can follow me on the social medias. My Facebook page is facebook.com/whoisphilbuckman. Please follow me there. I do, when the band is out touring, I live stream our shows, and I take you backstage with us. Instagram is @PhilBuckman. I post a lot of my photographs that I take, and follow me at those two places.
We'll see you next time, folks. Thanks for watching.
Thanks a lot.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.